Our presentation is about Ellis Island. We went there last week and took a tour, and we're going to describe some of the things that we found out. First, Grace and I talk about the process, what it was like for immigrants to go through Ellis Island. And then Melissa going to talk about her family's experience doing research into her background. Okay, so let's go to Grace first. Hi, I'm going to talk about the first part of the process of going to the Ellis Island, the different stages that the immigrants had to go through. Okay, first, one important thing to remember is that Ellis Island was only used for poorest immigrants, the third class passengers. The first and second class passengers were processed on the ship. Then they were taken for the docks where they got off. And then the ship would sail on top of Ellis Island with the third class passengers still on board. When they finally landed at Ellis Island, they put on all of the clothes they owned because they were allowed to bring in only one bag with their possessions from the old centuries. People brought in all kinds of things, like you would see musical instruments and samovars, pots for making tea. Some people brought earth from the old country too, or plants, vines for example, for growing grapes. Then the first place they got to was the dining hall, where they were given a meal that was paid for by the steamship companies. People who came through Ellis Island always remember the meal. The food was apparently quite good, but it's also strange for many of them. Some people had never tasted ice cream or seen an orange or banana, for example, and then after that, the inspections began. And Arnie is going to tell you about that part. Arnie, thank you. Okay. After the meal, the passengers could leave their bags and go up to a staircase to the Great Hall, and as they walked past, inspectors would watch them carefully to see if they were weak or sick. If someone was sick, they would send them to the hospital. There was a hospital on Ellis Island as well until they got better. They also detained children, young women, and old people traveling alone. About 20% of people were held back, often for health reasons, but most were released after a day or two or when someone came to pick them up.